Hello and welcome back to Forge of Champions. My name is Jake Brain Matthews. I've switched out of Scoundrel, but we've still got Chronicler here. Getting into our second series of the day, which is going to be Phelan Gaming versus NVision Esports. Another new team coming here from the open division of Forge of Champions, looking to take on one of our lower four teams and seeing if they can advance into the next stage of the tower. So very excited to get going with this one. Obviously, we know about Phelan, NVision. Maybe it's a little bit more in the dark for us here so far.
Yeah. They have great team names. The top lane, I don't know if it's going to be his in-game as well, but his online persona is Dank, yes. So 3 Danks, just so you're sure about that. We got Noodle in the jungle, who supposedly plays incredibly aggressive, so that's going to be exciting. And we just saw just now that even if you're a UKLC team, you can't really think too lightly of these new open teams because, let's be honest, those were 3 40-minute slugfests.
They were 3 40-minute slugfests, but we do have an MVP coming from that series, and it is Beely, the mid laner for Darkspawn. Questions were raised at game 1. Personally, we're sitting in the production room watching that, but gets LeBlanc 2 games in a row and starts to look really, really good.
Yeah, like you said, the game 1 not looking as great, but the amount of pressure they was able to get in long games on something like a LeBlanc that traditionally falls off fairly hard was really impressive to me.
Fantastic, guys. We are heading into picks and bans for our second series of the day. Vel'Koz being taken away from ADM. We've seen him pick that up multiple times. As we come back to our beautiful face, it's just a little bit more.
That's nice.
Yeah,
you and me.
Just a little bit more full screen action here. Right, let's get into picks and bans. We'll still see that Vel'Koz ban, hopefully.
I gotta imagine
I'm getting told picks and bans, and then...
That's fine. Anyway, it's ADM. You're banning Vel'Koz.
Yeah,
right? You're just not wanting to give him a giant purple alien that shoots lasers.
And I mean, ADM, it was one of his comfort picks during the UKLC as well. So denial picks there. Questions for me is, are we going to be targeting people here on Phelan in particular? Or do you think it's going to be take off a few comfort picks, hope that we can kind of get ourselves some power picks? Because obviously did see Phelan are starting up on that blue side, and Vision on the red side means they do get some pretty powerful counter picks there.
Yeah, I'm really wondering what approach, because I think both approaches are viable. I do go for, and with the Vel'Koz ban, signifies to me that we're just going to ban comfort as opposed to banning what is traditionally the strongest laners at the moment. And it looks like that is what they're going for. Actually, with the Rek'Sai, that's a fairly straightforward ban. There's something that you're always going to take away as it's just incredibly strong right now. And the Morgana gets taken away from Snuggly, who, by the way, not on this team, but won Insomnia as a top laner.
Man of many talents, that's all I can
maybe
say.
I'll play Cannon here and then play Cannon support.
Well, it looks actually to me like Borrelia's actually getting a lot of focus here. But I mean, you just gave the namesake over to them, so they're going to be taking that pick. Could go to Freezy free in the mid lane, but most likely, off the name just alone, you expect to see that being Borrelia taking the Aurelia.
Yeah, you really do, as the Thrash Lucian lane gets picked up immediately. Phelan showing. We're going to vote for some bot lane dominance, strong early picks, a lot of CC, a lot of upfront damage, and I quite like that. I do feel like giving over the Aurelia is so scary. It's just in such a strong spot at the moment. Also, it feels like she doesn't really have any counters. There are things that work well into it, but she can always give her like a single opportunity and she'll just dash through the entirety of your team.
I've just come off Leaders Aurelia at European Masters. He played 5 games of that, and the dude just smashed everyone on it. So, NVision, they do pick themselves up this Rakan here. They've got lots of engage to work with. We just saw a Zyrakan in that last game. Looks like the powerful pick here, but NVision are going to take their hands on. What do Phelan decide they want to take here as their pick on the red side as they get this counter pick heading into ban phase 2?
And the Orianna, I would not mind. Just put ADM on the control mage, give him a lot of opportunity to scale safely. If a Chu gets ahead, you can always protect him. I feel like you're really you're watching something completely else. And
I'm not making faces at me.
I'm not easily
trying to be professional here.
Okay, I'm not easily distracted by what's happening over there, but I'm very easily distracted by you, Jake.
I'm really trying.
That's okay.
Looking at the camera as my soul is dying. All right, what? Aurelia, Orianna. Aurelia's been picked up already. Orianna for ADM. We've seen it as a comfort pick for a lot of our mid laners here in the UK scene. And ADM will get his hands on that. The Sejuani and Poppy getting taken away. Don't want to see Aragon on that Poppy because, speaking of comfort, that thing was disgusting.
And it's also arguably one of the very few matchups that Aurelia actually gets neutralized in, because the stat first present just means that every single time you try and go for a blade, it's like, no, you don't. Just stay there. And then it alleviates a lot of threats. And we see the Renekton getting taken away as well. And Renekton is one of those picks that recently has been, he also got buffed in the most recent patches. Recently has been getting a little bit more popularity. Of course, ever the lane bully. And I think he was the original inventor of getting ganked and then turning a 1v2 into two kills for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, also does very well into the Aurelia. I mean, both of those picks, like you were saying, do very well into the Aurelia. So take that off the board. But I was going to say the Hecarim has been left open. Is going to be locked in. Now, question is it for Soft or is it for Aragon Summoner Spells? Not telling us a tale quite yet. They're
not spoiling anything.
See who's going to take that. I feel like Phelan don't even know themselves right now. They might look to see what the rest of the comp for NVision is and then decide where they want to send the Hecarim. The 2 picks coming through. They're looking for most likely a mid laner, most likely a jungler here for NVision. So hovering around, taking their time to lock it in, and it is going to be the Nautilus. This might be AP Nautilus mid. I mean, I mean, it can be tanky Nautilus mid, right? Like you want to see full AP. I want Pro.
You want to see him blow stuff up. Yeah, I can't blame you for that. I do think that Nautilus just in general is such a strong pick right now with the amount of sustain in terms of CC they provides in team fights. One of the most reliable engages. There's no Morgana on the field. You know, there's nothing that can really stifle that. And we see the cannon getting picked up here in the end.
Wait. Is that Nautilus jungle?
Yeah.
Oh boy. So to me then that says that the Kennen is picked up as the counter pick to the Hecarim. So Aurelia probably not going to be playing that Aurelia in the top lane. They're probably going to give him the Kennen, send the Aurelia into the mid lane versus ADM. Very comfortable matchup for the Aurelia as well. Can just land that stun, jump onto the Aurelia and blow her up. And now Phelan got to scratch their head as they looked around at their comp. That's the UK special. I haven't seen that for a month. But Aragon going to get his hands onto the Yorick.
It was not very popular in the EUM, was it?
It was Permaban versus Curb.
Oh, yeah.
That was the only time. That was the only time it showed up as well. Sorry? Only in the bans versus Diabolus. And then outside of that, we just didn't see it. So it is a UK pick, but we're a region of interesting laners. So
I feel like
I'm ready to go, man.
Yorick pre-nerf was just like a pick that everyone picked up. Post-nerf, he's been relegated into more, I want to play a good split pusher that can always win the late game. Once you get left alone in the lane, just search through turrets, as we know he's one to do. And are we going to get mid lane camp? They keep flexing it. I can't blame you for getting...
They are now, because they're locked in. Past 20 seconds, you're locked in. So it is a mid lane Kennen here into ADM. Talk to me about this. How does this work? Or do you, have no idea?
That's a nice throw over to me.
I have no idea.
I got to say, I feel like that's not the greatest matchup for the cannon. I think that early on with the combination of like the Shuriken and just the auto attacks from cannon can be a really big nuisance, but then again, Orianna's auto attack are empowered by a passive, and it's just not that great to trade in early. What I do think is that the positioning of the cannon allows you to use it more liberally in roams, and I think in a 2v2 scenario, against something like the Hecarim, it can actually be kind of a nuisance because, especially if you go for something like an early Zhonya's, which I would expect to see coming out here from the cannon, then it just alleviates a lot of the pressure, right? Yeah. I do feel that the problem with cannon is you need to get up close, and if you're up close, you can get shockwaved.
I want to talk a little bit about what else is coming through here when we look at this Nautilus. Are we seeing like a Runic Echoes jungle, or is it going to be the Cinderhulk?
I gotta imagine, especially now that Cinderhulk's actually buffed, you know, because it was buffed in the tooltips, but it wasn't actually buffed. Yeah. You know, everyone was like, oh, this feels so much better. It's like, wait a minute, we didn't actually adjust the damage. It's still, because I've played Nautilus a lot recently. I've played in the jungle as well.
I mean, we all have. We've all been trying him.
Everyone loves Nautilus right now, except when you're playing against him, because he feels very frustrating because you don't ever move. But the thing is, it's early clear. It's still as bad as it's ever been. It's really, once you get the Cinderhulk, you're in a really comfortable spot. But even if you max your shield, it does not feel as good as a lot of other matchups. So I want to see how well Noodalicious is going to be able to keep up with Soft. Because Hecarim, if there's a jungler that can just ravage through camps, that can rampage them in a matter of seconds, is the pony.
Well, we head on to the Rift for our second series of the day. First game here. Noodalicious just covering up in this mid lane. See the phase rush being picked up for 3z3 on that Kennen. So that most of the runes are looking relatively normal.
Yeah, nothing too surprising. I think the double Conqueror. Of course, there was a time when Hecarim usually went for the Predator, but with the recent discovery that Conqueror is actually really good on Hecarim with the combination of Rampage and the healing that you get from your W, it's not, I think that's too surprising there. And I feel like you can also go for a Klepto Cannon, but if outside of top lane, I'm not a huge fan of it, so I think that the phase rush is a good call there, especially as I said earlier. I think that what you're looking to do here as NVision is just find these mid-game team fights where your cannon and your Nautilus can just pop off, right? When you have so much CC and still have a lot of upfront damage. And that should be possible for them to do, but the question is Phelan gonna allow them to do it? Because I do feel like Phelan, coming into the series kind of blank, is going to be the favorite me just on the basis of how they performed the UKRC. They were not the greatest of teams, but they were able to consistently grab a win here and there, and that should scare you coming into a series like this as NVision.
And Phelan were a team who, in the regular season, were very good at finding these wins versus the weaker teams. It was against some of these kind of top 4 teams, your Fnatics, your Diaboluses, your M&Ms, people like that was where they were starting to, you know, fall a little bit short. So I have to see how they're going to fare here. As this is the saddest thing about this new Rakan skin. There's no Xayah to match. So, I mean, Skinergy's off.
It's not great. It really bugs you, doesn't it?
It really bugs me. It's one of those things where it's like they always got their skins together. I mean, they've got a lot of skins since coming out.
They do. And it feels like they actually should have gone for it, but then again, like, you can't really argue with Jackie Love, right? Like, if he wants a Kaiser skin, then
yeah, I mean, you can't really, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's literally the world champion.
Snuggly consistently landing these hooks. Flay's a little bit late, so UK Meal Deal will be able to make his way out.
It's a great name.
That's a fantastic name.
You know, as someone who relatively recently moved to the UK, I mean, I'm about to move out again, but like, the meal deal was really, already. The meal deal was really a great discovery. Makes life a little bit more bearable as we see Soph setting up for a bot lane gank here.
He's speeding up here, looking to come in as the Ghost has been used. The knock-up comes down and a great flash to disengage. Spark makes his way out. They try for the gank, just burn a summoner spell.
And Braillia on the Aurelia, feeling very comfortable there. Needs to be careful not to get tagged by the ghouls. And it always feels so bad to be in this position, although Blade Surge makes the hurt a little bit less.
Yeah, especially when you can also block up some of the leap with the W as well. Another hook by Snuggly. This time the Flay lands. UK Meal Deal launches out with a bag of crisps.
And don't forget that drink, you know, some refreshment. Although he does not have any potions anymore, unfortunately. No cookies either, so getting the worst end of that deal as Soft's early gank already forced a flash, and I'm interested in the
zone. Oh, just get jumped in. The Ignite comes down. Noodle is there, but a little bit late. That's the Ignite now being used to force UK Meal Deal low, but not enough to actually find that kill, which means he's going to be nice and safe. For the moment, that kill pressure starting to drop a little bit as the stun does connect him onto Aragon. Can just continue to chase him more and more. The Conqueror stacked up onto him. Jumps in the W. The Blade Search is there. Borelli has flash. One more auto attack as he finds first blood.
And seemingly out of nowhere, I was questioning, is he really going to go for the, just wait for the entirety of that minion wave, but hits the stun, is like, from that point on, I know what I'm going to do. This is not a good place to be in as Phelan, because if your split pusher is losing early on in a solo fight against an Aurelia, that is not going to get better. That is only going to get worse. Like, there's going to be a point, I think, eventually, where Yorick is going to be able to hold his own, but that you're so far away from that, and giving up solo kills is never a good thing, especially for your mentor as well, coming in here as Aragon. That's got to feel bad.
It's got to be rough for him. Borrelia definitely getting comfort pick there was good for NVision, but UK Meal Deal steps forward. Once again, the hook lands. They got the Flay. The flash is available. A lot of damage is coming down and forces the flash out. Snuggly just landing every hook here on this Fresh.
I love that UK Meal Deal, like, as soon as that order has been gone, he immediately jumps back in again. Like, he's really respecting the cooldowns, but he needs to stop getting caught by these hooks because he still has the flash available. But if he's not careful, at one point in time, there's also Soph is going to be around, or he's just going to get taken down with the Ignite now already half of cooldown, getting close. And Noodalicious, though, has been able to stay up in CS fairly well. Don't think he can contest the Scuttle, though. And with Soph making his way, he might be stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Well, Soph just wants to get some crab for the moment, but looks like Noodalicious now making his way down. Mid laner joining up as well from Freezy as Soph now forced to run away. The flash into the dredge line. They throw down the slicing Maelstrom, and Soph is fried. Freezy Z secures the kill.
And there's no hesitation there from NVision, which I really like. Like, they just completely commit, and Soph has no flash available, so you know he can't really dodge that dredge line. But then to have Freeze at free also immediately follow up with a flash slicing Maelstrom to absolutely secure that kill. Really good proactive player by NVision. And We saw it in the first game of today, where a UKLC team fell behind early on against an open team. And right now, at least in the very early game, we already see at 6.5 minutes, a 1K advantage for NVision.
It's really nice to see some of these open division teams step up here into this stage of the tournament, into that lower bracket, seeing if they've got what it takes to challenge these teams. Because remember, all of these teams are in with a chance of making it through that relegation phase, coming up at the end of Forge of Champions once we're done with everything. Potentially looking to take out the likes of these, like the likes of Darkspawn, who are one of our teams currently sitting in relegation. But for Darkspawn, good boom to your mental. You made it out of this section. You've now into the next part. You have to take on, I can't remember who it is. I believe it's Davalus. Yeah. So it's gonna be a hard game, but it's not out. It's not impossible.
It's also, it feels really good to just come back from a deficit like that and able to actually make it through those 45-minute slugfests, because you know this is so incredibly draining as a player. You just try and keep up, but you know that in those late game moments, a single misstep just means the game. And we see really aggressive warding here from UK Meal Deal.
Yeah, he might actually just get caught out. Just look to jump away. The lantern has been thrown down and Soft comes in. What a hook as Soft secures the kill.
And a bit greedy there from UK Meal. They still had the flash available, but didn't go for it. Tried to sidestep the hook, and he gets punished appropriately. Rakan, he was able to get away so many times, but not this one. And that means that all of a sudden the Mountain Dragon is on the board here for Phelan. And that's going to be really good because they don't have the greatest objective-taking team. And alleviating that weakness is going to give them a lot more tools coming into the mid-game now. Nothing is lost for NVision. They're still in a comfortable spot where Noodalicious is going to hit that level 6, is going to get that Cinderhulk. I expect him to see and try to force some more plays around him. But great play there from Phelan. And like I said, over-aggressive warding from UK Meal Deal.
Well, with that, we have been able to see a 600 gold lead form in favor of NVision. Great turnaround for Phelan to pull back some of this gold lead at 8 minutes. They've got that Mountain Drake to work with. Like you said, helps them as their objective taking can be a little bit weak. Now, let's take stock of where we're at with some of these teams. You can see Chu now got the build towards the Cutlass, building towards that Blade of the Ruined King. Pretty standard build here for the Lucian. Kaiser working, sorry,
Zaya.
Yeah. Zaya, thank you. I don't know if I said Kaiser. Zaya working towards the Essence Reaver as well on that champion for the moment. They're also sitting fairly comfortable just on the pickaxe as the wards have been placed down, and Soft now just going to be securing a blue buff for ADM.
And as we expected initially, as long as that Cinderhulk is not finished, Soft is just going to out-farm Noodalicious. There's just no way around. Nautilus is clear. It's just not very good in the jungle. That's not what you're playing for, of course. And I do feel like if NVision get into a situation where they can go on even footing in the mid-game, their CC in the team fights is incredible. You have the hard engage from the Rakan and from the Nautilus, and then in addition to that, there's so much from Spark and Brelia on the Zaya and Aurelia just diving in. I can't get over how fun it is to say Brelia and Aurelia, as we're going to probably saying that a lot more. Although after that initial solo kill, things have calmed down a little bit in the top lane.
But you can also see, though, Aragon is losing CS because of the fear factor of what Borrelia has been able to do so far. Now with that Tiamat, now with that Phage as well, very comfortable in the lane, and will continue to grow that CS deficit. Now, can be a little bit deceptive because all those ghouls do count towards the CS score as well. Actually, they don't anymore. Okay, they used to. So it's actually a
big lead.
That's a real lead. Thank you very much for bringing the lead up. 1,000 gold ahead. Borrelia sitting comfortable, and with that Tiamat being a 1,200 kind of must-buy early on the Aurelia, it's basically nullifying that Triforce spike for the pair of these champions.
And we see that the gold deficit isn't on one particular person. It's a little bit in the jungle, it's a little bit in the bot lane, and that actually adds up to a fairly even gold score here, at least for now, as the Maiden eventually will get taken down, and there's going to be a point where Borrelia is going to feel a little bit more comfortable, stacking up a big wave here, but needs to be careful because Soft is in the general vicinity, and Noodalicious, again, still does not have the Cinderhulk. I keep coming back to it because it means that Nautilus is just going to keep falling further and further behind, because it was just 10 CS a couple of minutes ago. Now it's 20, and of course it is the jungle, so you can have a little bit, you know, one player has done his Raptors and the other hasn't. It can be a little bit deceptive, but still not a great place to be in.
Yeah, it's growing more and more by the moment. These two pink wards have been placed as Borrelia is going to clear it out for the moment, head back towards that top lane. Mid lane is fairly equal. The big deficits are coming from the top lane in favor of NVision, while Achu and Snuggly, they have the lead in the bot lane. The CS grows more and more by the minute. 20 CS lead over to Achu. It's working the way towards that Blade of the Ruined King. Should be fairly close at this point.
I hope so, Finn. There's a really big power spike that you're looking to hit, and it's going to mean that you can do more on the bot side of the map as well.
Snuggly lands the hook, the flay comes down, the ignite and the culling, he takes the lantern forward, a great blade hauler comes through, and UK meal deal gets out alive.
And has to use everything there, the flash, the heal, but not getting the kill there. It seemed like besides that one hook...
Soft, Onslaught is available, doesn't actually find the opening onto UK meal deal. Spark needs to be careful though, this wave is closing in. The pink ward catches them out, and skedaddle, skadoodle, in comes the noodle, but he's not going to find himself the opening.
And no action for our lovely noodle does farm. The only play
Depth shots available though.
They do. And I feel like they need to respect that, especially with the low amount of mana available here. But with Soft in the area, they're going to feel a little bit safer. You have the pony, the cavalry, literally on backup. You got to feel good here at the bot lane of Phelan. As the gold advantage we were talking about earlier, it was a 1k at 6 minutes. Basically non-existent right now. But I don't feel like either of these two teams is going to have a really big edge going into the later stage of the game, because both of them have really good mid games and both of them kind of fall off in the terms of the Lucian and the Hacker-in. Once you get later and later, they kind of start to lose their edge. But then again, Aragon is going to feel fine, Adiana is going to feel fine, and on the other hand, kind of the same thing, where the Xayah is going to feel great, but the Cannon is going to lose a little bit of influence as the game progresses, and his burst just isn't enough anymore.
I do want to actually have a little talk about this mid lane here, because when we just briefly had a look down there, we saw ADM using the ball just to kind of zone Freezy3 away. And every time Freezy3 stepped up, the ball into the dissonance, just a little bit of poke, and just give ADM that little bit extra range to play with, the extra bit of damage. Is with the fact that they also have the faster pushing lane with the Luden's Echo finished up, they're able just to move in, rotate members onto that Cloud Drake, and take that objective. As Achu also is going to be gifted 2 plates in the bot lane in that meantime as well. Blade the Ruined King's finished up, and Spark not finished that Essence Reaver. Another hook lands. This time the teleport comes into the quickness as well. Achu rooted down, the Lantern's not going to be enough, and Freezy zip free, showing up with that Proto Bell, with the slows available, but Snuggly tries to jump away. They're trying to get the stuns off in time, and they do connect. Snuggly low and ignited, and UK meal deal gets a snack.
And a great bait there. I thought that started off with UK meal deal once again getting hooked, but it looks like we're not the only ones that they tricked, because a great turnaround there, immediate teleport comes in. You got to imagine that was set up from the beginning with that deep ward. And if they also pick it, this is a little bit greedy in my opinion though. I feel like, I don't know if you really want to take on that.
Morelia's got the pushing lane. Soft can't contest without Aragon losing a fair amount. With that pick in the bot lane though,
Wait,
NV have been able to get
turret?
themselves, they've been able to take themselves that first turret blood, so good pickup for them. NVision stepping up nice and well here, as you can see the gold on your screen right now. Rift Herald's been picked up. This is really good here, but Snuggly, Angry Dive Fresh comes in, lands the flash and the hook into the box. Spark is low. Featherstorm comes out, and Achu has to dodge away from the feathers with the flash. Finds it, and he gets himself the kill. In comes Soft, and Achu starts to rip through one, but in comes Borrelia. Jumps onto Snuggly, jumps onto Achu. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but the stuns are connecting. The flash comes down into the shockwave. Borrelia's alive for long, but not long enough. Snuggly goes down. A double kill for Borrelia. He gets turned around, though. A double kill for Soft.
The fact that he was able to still get a double kill out of that is absolutely amazing. Yes, they're going to lose this turret, but they will be able to get a lot of damage down in the mid lane. Delicious was nowhere near that, and the same for Freezy3. And what a team fight that, or an extended skirmish rather, coming out from NVision. And as you said, the fact that they also have this Rift Herald still available. Yes, there's no more plates available, but getting more map pressure is still going to be really good for them. As we see Freezy3 making the push happen here, and looks like with the Syndog finished, Noodalicious now also just completely caught up in farm. The double kill from Soft, though, is really going to help. And more importantly, it's also going to become such a big threat, because Hacker-in is one of those junglers where if he starts to get ahead, he's starting to feel so incredibly oppressive as he just dives onto your backline. And there is a backline in the form of Spark with the Featherstorm, is one of the carries that can relatively well deal with it, but it's still a big risk, and you need to be mindful of those Hacker-in flanks.
See, here's one of the weird things we've seen, because while I was away at the European Masters, a lot of our junglers would put a lot of priority onto getting these plates with the Rift Herald. Noodles just sat on it, and actually this charge might just be wasted if they do manage to stop it going off, but the turret's already gone down, and now we see NVision have to step up because they don't want to just waste the Rift Herald. So Spark and UK Mildew standing by, but look at Snuggly standing off on the corner. Noodlicious is with them, so they're going to be in a 3v3. Soft also making his way forward. They should be able to get this charge out from the Rift Herald. Yeah, they do get the charge, but I mean, it was questionable use, and this is one of the things we do see from some of these teams, especially from the open division, is the use of Rift Herald. It's something you do want to track as Snuggly. You can't land a ball, mate, but he's landed a lot.
He's done his best. Like
I mean, he's landed so many hooks.
He's landed a lot of them. And yeah, unfortunately for NVision, like with the Rift Herald being picked up so late, it always feels kind of awkward. But instead, imagine if they try to find a pick and go for a mid lane where it just gives you so much more map pressure as opposed to, again, a top lane turret, as you said, that you were already getting, and a charge on the top lane inner, which is one of the least important turrets in this game. Like, it's not really going to do anything. It's nice to get the gold, but you don't even get that. There is still now, though, a 2k gold lead here for NVision. And I feel like once we start Nautilus getting tankier and tankier, we're seeing the cannon builds toward the second item. If he finishes as Zhonya's, the team fights are going to be incredible because there's so much threat with the combination of the big AoE ultimates, the Vanguard's Edge, the quickness, and of course the slicing Maelstrom. And Phelan need to respect that.
And NVision actually have to win this team fight to be able to take this mid lane turret, because Orianna at this point with the Ludens, with the Phoenix Codex, loads of cooldown reduction, is just going to mince through these waves, and that's why saving the Rift Herald for mid lane would have been a better shout. But, you know, hindsight's 2020, you can't always make the right play, you know, exactly. Yeah. It's easy for us. We're watching this from Eagle Vision with all the vision unlocked. These players don't understand or don't see some of these things. They can't, what we can see. Understand was maybe a little bit mean, but I meant to say they can't see what we can see, right?
Which is true, like factually.
I mean,
they can't see.
They can't understand what we can see because they can't see it.
Very, very good save.
That was not a bad. That was a terrible save.
No. Come on. Give you some credit. I'll give you that one. As we see the Cloud Dragon here, it's not the most valued of dragons. It's not the one that you want the most, but you're going to take it anyway. They do lose a mid lane turret for those. UK Meal trying to find an engage, but they are able to disengage. It's something we haven't really talked about yet. How good Soft is as a ball delivery system.
She's taking so much damage off 3v3. Didn't actually quite find the kill. The culling got cancelled out. Slicing Maelstrom and Flash available. So it's going to be quite hard to find a kill onto this Kennen, but ADM not going to take that dredge line to the face. 4 members here, though, of the team are hanging about. Just get one cheeky auto attack onto the turret.
They'll take that one auto attack as they take down the Maiden. Oh, not. Never mind. Decided to back off.
That's big. Like, killing the Maiden was like something we saw a lot of, because during the UKLC we were very much on a power spike, a Yorick focused meta, and a lot of these ganks were just there to kill the Maiden, not even to kill the Yorick, because Yorick is strong in his own right, but when he's got Maiden with him, it kind of is like a 1.5 versus 1, or like a 1v2. So they didn't get the kill onto that Maiden. Does mean that Ericon now can return into the side lanes and look to try and take down some of these turrets. As they were able to get that mid lane turret for the side of Phelan and NVision. Now need to kind of find a way to crack open this turret. That's the question. That's the next step for them if they want to push this game to the next point.
They're going to need to find a way, although, as I said previously, I feel like both these teams are relatively evenly matched in a mid-game scenario. I feel like once we get to the real late game, it's going to be a lot harder. But then you have the split-pushing Yorick. And Soph, if he Onslaught of Shadows in, and there is a single shockwave that hits 2 or 3 people, the team fight is just over instantly. And both of these two teams have these kind of synergies that are just so scary and can just turn a team fight, even if you're behind, turn a team fight completely around. Now, both these teams, yes, there is a slight gold lead here for NVision, but it's not really something that you'd lose sleep over if you're feeling here. It's close, and that means that the execution of these team fights is going to be key.
Ooh, good hit by Snuggly. They throw out the box. In comes the onslaught at Shadows. UK Mildil makes a grand escape, but the slicing Maelstrom's there. Now Spark on that flank dodges away from the hook, and Phelan don't find their pick. They get disengaged on, but they get a blue buff as their prize.
And that's a good one, but I'm loving the disengage. That I thought for certain that once again that we're going to be able to pick up a kill here. But the defensive play from NVision has been really good. What I would like to see, though, is, as we see Nudalicious now make his way, he was down at Krugs. I want to see them try and make more use of this Nautilus, because the amount of CC that he has would have maybe allowed him to try and turn something around there. Instead, they kind of have to take it slow and just play purely defensively. Losing a blue buff over it isn't the worst, but I want to see more proactive plays, and I think that once we see the Righteous Glory finished, we might see more proactive plays coming out from Noodle here.
Not a lot of people might know this, but me and Chronicler actually met from casting Overwatch.
It's a very long time ago.
It was a very, very long time ago. Now, there was one key thing we still have to talk about, but I might have to hold that for the moment. Snuggly take a little bit of damage, but he's okay. So we can go back to my point. Continue. Now, back in the day where we met, when we used to cast Overwatch together, we had our trigger words, you know, our key things you talk about. You know, remember macro and micro? Yeah. The words that everyone uses for League of Legends? Ult economy was the one we used to talk about. And I want to talk a little bit about ult economy in this game, because there's a lot of key ults on both sides that can decide these fights. You look at ADM's Shockwave, you look at the Onslaught of Shadows, these big, impactful teamfight ultimates, but there is a lot that NVision can use in a team fight to effectively pull themselves out of a fight. You've got the Vanguard's Edge that gives Aurelia basically just pick of the litter to reposition and blink around the fight as quick as possible. You've got the Slicing Maelstrom, you've got the Depth Charge. Spark has the Featherstorm, which can be so big. And it looks like they might be looking to use some of those ultis now. The Depth Charge has been used onto Soft, but he gets underneath the turret. And ult economy now in favor of Phelan.
Very nice segue there. And both of these two teams have such divisive team fights, as we see a Chu there.
Oh, has to flash away. The Slicing Maelstrom gets used as well. The two team fighting ultimates I was talking about available to NVision have been wasted and not found them a pick.
And that's not a great place to be in, as we see the stun going down in ADM, and we know how much Aurelia loves to follow up on those, but he can't. And I'm not liking this decision here.
Into the quickness, UK Mildil is just taken down. They've thrown out the stun onto one with a Flawless Duet and Soft, looking to speed up into the team. Goes for Spark with the Shadows. A great Featherstorm into the Shockwave is whiffed by ADM. He lands the Sombrero. The Maiden is summoned, and Aurelia has to flash the wall. Snuggly takes a lot of damage from 3z3 and does make his way out. Phelan find themselves one, but don't find more.
And neither of the other big ultimates really hitting that mark there. Yes, they're able to get a kill, but I don't love the decision from UK Mildil to begin, because if you have the Slicing Maelstrom available, if you have the Depth Charge, then yes, you can try and force those fights, try to taunt everyone up, and then just close it up before they have a time to respond. But that was not the case here. You already used those, and it really showed that he got blown up almost immediately. And NVision, the fact that they're able to even salvage that also comes down, as you said, the Shockwave not finding anyone. And in the end, both these team fights keep going. I expect them to go in a very one-sided manner, but instead it's just all economy trading back and forth. Use an ult, we don't really find anything. But you know, every single engagement, it can be over. It can just be can't understate how big impact those ultimates are. And not in a Skarner ultimate where it's just in a team fight way. Being able to hit any of these ultimates when you need to is going to be huge, as we see them move on to the Mountain Drake.
All right, almost all of the ultimates are up, and they're looking to turn their attention towards this Mountain Drake. Phelan want to get themselves as many as possible. As Soft speeds away. The hook lands out by Snuggly. He charges through everyone. The Vanguard's Edge is down. 3z3 has got in, and one is already the victim of the fight. A 2-for-1 trade in favor of Phelan, as Nudalicious is untouched in the fight. A Chu launches over the wall. Another hook by Snuggly comes down as he flashes into the flame. The Featherstorm, the Blade Caller, has been used as ADM gets himself a kill onto Spark, and Phelan run away with the fight.
And it was so close there, but this time ADM hits the big Shockwave. 3 people getting knocked up. We saw FreeZep3 trying to flash over the wall and take down a Chu, but he was in such a safe position there that even with all those cooldowns used, he was just able to dash out and then get back into the fight. And even though they were all very low, they weren't low enough for Aurelia to go in and do cleanup duty, which you know that the Aurelia can do. You can Blade Surge in, try to get the resets, but unfortunately, not able to find that. The Mountain Drake, the second one, goes over to Phelan, who are really showing their class here. And you also got to wonder, NVision, this is a team coming from the Open Tournament, a team that hasn't played together as much, and the target focusing in that team fight really made me want more. I want to see more decisive shot calling for who to go for, because everyone was low from Phelan.
Everyone was, but let's take a little look at what's coming through here for a Chu, because he's gone for the Essence Reaver build, so it's the crit Lucian. Now, normally, well, not normally, but you've seen a kind of split recently on the Lucian builds where some people opt into the Black Cleaver, like we kind of know and love.
Yeah.
Some opt into the Essence Reaver. Now, this kind of gives a little bit extra scaling over to the Lucian when he starts to stack a lot of crit, because you'll see the Rapid Fire Cannon come through. Most likely, the Infinity Edge gives you like 75% crit. That just gives him a fairly decent late game. Now, it's not the same as like a hyper carry, like your likes of a Kai'Sa or a Vayne, someone like that, who I mean, Vayne's maybe a little bit of a no-no now, just because she's not a late-game champion, she's a mid-game
champion.
Yeah.
That's very good.
But it does give you some pretty decent mid-game, late-game. Gives you the ability to kind of stand up as a champion on the Lucian. Now, the wave is being pushed up. They're looking to attack the tower. Snugly throws that hook, not going to find it. You can see Soft over that wall, but when you don't have a Chu nearby, when you don't have Eragon nearby, it was a rough fight for Phelan, so they just have to give up the turret.
Especially without the teleport available, and the Chu, of course, not even able to teleport there. And I do feel like, especially if we look at the Orianna build, for example, as well, we see Phelan make some unorthodox choices that I really like. I think that going for an early Banshee's Veil, yes, it's really defensive, but if you look at Orianna's goal here, it's just make sure that Akram stays alive and that you stay alive and just hit a big shockwave. Hit multiple people, right? Because if you do that, the rest of your team is going to be able to carry these team fights, and the added safety of the Banshee's Field really helps there. Double Mountain Drake.
Yeah, they're going to cut through this objective nice and quick. The Baron melting as Noodalicious is on that flank. One hook's gone wide as Baron is secured. Now it's all onto NVision. The hook lands into the dredge line. Flawless Duet goes wide. Snugly gets knocked up. Soft jumps away to safety. They're just going to lose one. Shockwave onto two members, and maybe Phelan look to turn. Spark finds himself a kill, and it looks like Phelan running away, but FreeZ3 tries to find himself the opening. Can't quite get it. Phelan lose two members, but they gain Baron.
And they gain it on some of the most crucial members. Eragon doesn't have it, which is really unfortunate because you'd love to just send him off to a side lane, but it is available on a Chu, on ADM, and on Soft, and especially Chu is going to be able to do a lot of damage with that as the Rapid Fire Cannon is now finished for him. They will lose his mid lane turret, but I hope that the disengage from NVision comes soon afterwards, because I feel like if they stay around here for longer, they're really going to be pushing that luck.
Chu's looking for the kill. Oh, baby! Takes him down!
Yeah, pushing that luck. Just get blown up out of nowhere. I mean, nice flash from a Chu.
Slide into those DMs.
Yeah.
That was...
Wait, what? Going to disregard that and take a look. We see that Phelan, as Jake is losing himself right next to me over here, is able to turn around the gold deficit that they had early into a gold lead. And we're really starting to see the experience kind of come through here as they're able to get the better hand of these calls, and NVision really underestimating the damage that you're able to do with a double Mountain Drake, even on a team that doesn't traditionally do the absolute fastest of Barons. And now it's the Baron empowered minions crashing down, and the wave clear from NVision is actually not that great, especially since a lot of it is close range.
A lot of damage comes through from that culling onto Spark. Does get a shield from UK Mildew to tank a bit of it up. Two cannon minions as well, working away onto this turret. One more auto attack will be enough to secure it, but Borrelia makes sure it does get tanked up. A great cage by Eragon, though, will stop Noodalicious from finding that Dreadclaw, find that key engage here. Phelan step back. They've still got Baron to play with. They don't want to give it up right now. Pick up this next wave, and they look to try and push.
Banshee's Field, of course, also helps, which is something I just realized. Also really helps against depth charge. You can just, even if you're out of position, can never be used unless there's any follow-up. And if you're that far out of position, well, nothing's going to help you. Snuggly, again, misses a hook. And this is key because Snuggly, this is maybe a second one we've seen him miss.
I mean, he's been landing a lot of hooks. Like, you can't really say he's been doing too bad on this front.
No.
They got that cannon, one more auto attack onto the turret, and boop. Oh, it didn't hit them. Actually, Chu takes a death charge here. Noodalicious flashes in, blows him up. They also find themselves a hook onto Eragon. The Vanguard's edge has gone down into the quickness by UK Mildew. They're speeding away, and NVision find two.
ADM and Soft are able to get away, but a Chu getting picked up there, not respecting the depth charge. Immediate follow-up coming through from Spark as well, able to knock him down. Great flash engage there from Noodalicious. And what I'm loving here from NVision is that even when they lose the Baron, even when they kind of find these teamfights that aren't really working for them, they're not giving up. They're trying to play their win conditions, and they continuously keep up the pressure on the Phelan base, once again pushing through here. And I think they're just going to get the inhibitor before Phelan. How crazy is that?
NVision just siege in here, nice and comfortable. Down goes the redemption. UK Mildew lands a knock up. The hook goes wide this time. Shockwave onto 5 into the shadows. ADM is on the back line and you look for Soft. Borrelia does manage to take down that inhibitor as he gets that last auto attack off. A Chew barreling towards them. The ultimate's coming down onto Borrelia. They're trying to get themselves a stun from the flawless duet onto 2 members of Soft. Chases in. In comes Aragon. The flash out by Spark. Snuggly goes forward. Freezy free. Throws down the slicing Maelstrom as they've turned the fight around. A 1-for-2 in favor of Phelan. They come up huge in the fight, but lose an inhibitor.
And unbelievable that out of nowhere NVision, on the back of getting pushed in, 1 auto attack away of losing your own inhibitor turret, and then able to turn around and get your own. Now, they are going to lose this inhibitor, which is kind of unfortunate for them, although the Baron buff has run out with how low it is. It is a free pickup here, and it's an inhibitor for inhibitor trade here, but the re-engage might be scary.
Well, can they? Because the quickness comes in onto multiple members. Oh my lord! 3 people die, and Borrelia gets a double kill. Blade Surge is going to be coming up oh so soon, and Snuggly is running away as fast as his little legs can take him, jumping to the minions, and Borrelia doesn't find the resets, can't quite get the triple. But oh lord, this game is back and forth.
But now they keep running back into the mid lane, and then there's a team fight, and then they run back into the mid lane, and then there's another team fight, and we've seen that three-way back and forth now. And Vision decide this is the moment where we're just going to end the game.
They might just try to end right here. 20 seconds still available till ADM and a Chew comes down. So you can see UK Mildew jumping forward. The box has been used. Onslaught of Shadows onto Free by Soft. He's low HP. A great hook comes down by Snuggly. The flay back. They get themselves one, but it gets turned around. The turret is being focused.
Are they going to do
Snuggly
it?
has to run away. NVision, they might just have done this right here. They got to get the hooks down. In comes Aragon. Down goes the Nexus, and NVision take game 1.
We literally saw the exact same happen 3 times there. So a team gets pushed into the mid lane. They force a team fight. Then they move. They just charge down with 5 people down mid lane. Force an inhibitor down, gets shockwaved by 5 people, then the other 5 people make their way down mid lane again.
It just evolved into an A-Rhyme at that point. That was nuts. And some of the early fights, man, they were so like back and forth. Like you throw it all your ultis down, only kill 1 person, and then
really
they step away. And then those last fights were just everybody dies. You go and punch the Nexus. We double punch at the same time there. That was awesome. But I want to get hyped about the game, but we do have to cut to a quick break because this is still a best-of-3 series. So when we're back, we're finding out whether or not Phelan can bite back versus NVision, or if NVision go 2-0 in the series. Don't go anywhere. See you in a second.